Peace world, welcome back to another episode of Retired Wreck, the podcast. You're here with your boy, your host, Khalif Wyatt. Thank y'all for joining me for another episode. Man, if you were tuned into the last episode I did with Scoop Jardine, I'm sure you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was a pleasure to interview him and just get into his story, and I learned a lot about Scoop, man. Things that I just didn't know. From the outside looking in, man, you just never know what's going on with somebody, and just to hear his story and just to see how he triumphed and overcame everything, and went on to have a great college career, and how he transitioned into life after sports was just beautiful to hear, and it was super inspirational, man. And that's just what I'm aiming for with this platform, man. Just to be inspired by some guys who just show some toughness, some mental toughness, and some grit, man. That's what it takes to really get through those tough times and to overcome and to transition into whatever you're going to do after sports. So, man, that interview was great, man. During the interview, I didn't get a chance to give him all of his flowers, man, because when I bring a guest on, I'm really just I'm letting them do their thing, man. I want them to get their story off. I don't want to really make it about me, because that's not what those episodes are about, man. When I bring a guest on, we're going to just we're going to listen. We're going to do a lot more listening than we're going to do talking. But yeah, man, he was definitely a huge part of just who I was as a player. Like going to go watch Newman play games and just witnessing that whole era, and just really being in tune and the type of person I am and the type of player I am. Like when I go watch a game, excuse me, when I go watch a game, even at that age, 7th grade, 8th grade, when I go watch a game, I'm really watching the game, and I'm watching moves, and I'm watching body language, and I'm watching just how they're doing what they're doing, and I was around, man, to watch some great stuff, man. When I was a middle schooler, early high schooler, I would go down Newman. Shout out to J Mac. J Mac is one of my old heads, man. He used to pack us up, in his car and just go down Newman and just watch whoever they was playing, man. Regular season game versus Kennedy Kenrick, we would go watch it. Or if it was a big game versus, St. Joe's Prep, like Reggie Redding and Matt Griffin and those guys, or Bonner, when they had Jeff Jones. Like I was really in those gyms just watching how hard people played and how, just how people did what they did. I'll never forget this. Shout out to Matt Griffin from St. Joe's Prep. He's now assistant coach at Florida Gulf Coast. But I'll never forget getting down to a St. Joe's Prep game early, Newman St. Joe's Prep game, and I saw Matt Griffin going through one of the most craziest pregame ball handling workouts I've ever seen. I'm in like 8th, 9th grade, and I'm there. I'm like, what is this guy doing? He got the 2 balls. He got he pounding into these, what's it called? He's going alternate dribbles. He's speed dribbling the half court, back dribbling back. I'm watching this like, wow, this dude just warming up like this. And he opened my eyes to just, people really taking their pregame serious. And I was in like 9th grade. I was like, damn, like he's really taking his warm up serious. He had a full sweat. I'm like, wow. But yeah, that's just a cool story I remember from that time. But yeah, one of my main takeaways from the Scoop interview, and this is really what I want to talk about this episode, is boosters and alumni. He told a lot of cool stories about just how him meeting people through his travels at Syracuse, how that helped him later on. When he was done playing basketball, or when he was going through tough times, he was able to lean on alumni and boosters. And this is something that I didn't grasp until recently, even after this interview, up until this interview. going through school, and I know this is a lot of athletes. When you're in school, you're kind of isolated. Like you can be big man on campus, but you're not a real sociable person, or at least I know I wasn't. And I'm a rather sociable person, but I just I stuck to who I knew and what I felt comfortable with. But some advice that I always give kids that I mentor now and who reach out to me for advice is to just shake hands, man, and introduce yourself, because you never know who is who, and you just never know, man. It's just always good to just introduce yourself, shake somebody's hand, tell them your name, look them in the eye, and just introduce yourself. Just that introduction alone, it can take you a long way. And that's something that I absolutely did not do at Temple. I left Temple with my teammates as friends, and I left Temple with about with about a handful of friends, man. And looking back at it, it's just it's really a wasted opportunity, because it's a whole campus full of people, and it's just a litany of resources there that that you just have to tap into if you're in tune. So for all my young guys who listen to this, for all my older guys who listen to this and who mentor kids, just make sure you're telling them that when they're on that campus, tap into every single resource that's available. You want to meet alumni, you want to meet the boosters, you want to, when you're at these events that they force you to go to as a student athlete, you want to be sociable, you want to be personable, you want to introduce yourself to these people, man. Just be a good person, because it can really take you so many places. It can take you so many places, and it's just something that looking back at my career, I wish I would have did. I was popular on campus, but what does that mean? What does that mean if you're not selling anything, or if you're not rubbing the right shoulders and meeting the right people? What does it really mean to be popular? It's just not enough. So yeah, when you're on these campuses, man, shake hands, shake your professors' hands, talk to your professors, talk to everybody, man, because you just never know who is who, and whose grandson, and whose uncle is this, and whose aunt is the head of this at this like, you just never know. So just shake hands and just be a good person. It can take you a long way. And that was really my main takeaway from the Scoop interview. He's just a personable person. So he was on that Syracuse campus for 5 years. And while he was up there, man, going through everything that he was going through, he was up there smiling, man, and he was shaking hands, and he was having conversations with people. And these people who he was having conversations with, I'm sure when he was going into these conversations, he didn't know these people were powerful people, and that these people were in, high places, and, these people could change his life in so many regards. But he was just being himself. And, through that, he was able to, meet a lot of people, and people who really, helped, make his transition into life after sports a little easier than if he hadn't been on campus and he was this non-approachable guy, and he didn't talk to anybody. It just put you in a box that you don't want to be in when you don't have to be. You don't have to be. So that was one of my main takeaways from that interview. I definitely wanted to make sure I shared that. Yeah, man, talk to people, shake hands. It's not natural for athletes, for all athletes, I'll say. I'll tell a story how I was injured at the time, so I was home. I was in I was home. I was rehabbing, but in this time, I was building my company, Marathon Sport, and I was I was pretty much going to all-star games, and really just recruiting kids to come. I wanted kids to come to my camps and clinics. I just wanted to get the word about my camps and clinics out. So I'm going to different all-star games, and I can just remember walking in the gym, and I'm avoiding conversation with anybody. And as a player, that's just who I was. That's who I was at the time. as a player, I'm walking into a gym, and I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody really. Like, I want to go sit down, watch the game, and just leave. Or if I have a game later that day, I want to walk in the gym, and I want to watch the game before mine or whatever I'm doing, and I want to go and get ready for my game. But as a player, you never walk into a gym thinking that I want to talk to these parents, or I want to talk to these coaches. I have to have a conversation with these coaches and see if they're interested in anything that I may offer. It's just a whole different mindset. So walking into those gyms as a business owner, trying to grow my business, trying to grow my camps and clinics, I was like, I had went to the first one. I was like, I didn't even talk to anybody. Like, people walked up to me, they noticed me, I had conversations, but I'm like, that can't be the attitude when you walk into these gyms and stuff like that. Like, it can't be people walking up to you all the time. Sometimes you have to approach people and just shake your hand, just introduce yourself, and just tell them what you have going on. And that's not a natural thing. It wasn't a natural thing for me. It's still not a supernatural thing for me. Like, I want to come in, get what I have to get done, and talk to who I have to talk to. I'm not a great a networker. Like, I'm just not. It's like my networking is natural, and that's a place I can grow in. Honestly, just telling people what I'm doing and having conversations, reaching out to people, and it's just a big part of growing up and growing. Period. Just stepping out of your comfort zone and just talking to people. I think that's a big part of what really anybody's trying to do, because just talking to people, you can learn things, and it can open up your mind to new thoughts. So yeah, man, that was my takeaway from the Scoop interview, man. He did a great job of just being personable while he was on that campus, and that 5-year experience at Syracuse to this day is still bringing in opportunities for him outside of basketball. So just be personable, talk to people. It's not, I'm one of those guys where I'll leave I'm getting better at this. When I'll have a conversation with somebody and I'll get right in the car and I'll immediately nitpick myself about the conversation I had. He said this, and how did I answer? Why did I answer like that? I could have answered. I was that guy until I just realized, man, it's not that deep, man. Just do you, man. Be yourself. Just be yourself, man. That's the best advice you can give anybody. Just be yourself, and just be uncomfortable, and just don't be afraid. The worst that can happen is this person doesn't like you, or they say no to what you have to offer. That's the worst that can happen, man. Life goes on, so just really step out there on faith and just be yourself and believe that you're enough. That confidence and that just understanding that life goes on and whatever. It's a long race, as I like to say, man. It's a long race, and one bad quarter, you can't lose the game in one bad quarter, man. One bad possession. It's a long game, and there's always opportunity for you to make the next play. Make the next play your best play, like coaches always say. So that's really what I wanted to get on here and share today. It's a message for you guys, man. I got some guests lined up. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about, continuing to share my story and my journey. And yeah, man, I look forward to just continuing to build. Make sure y'all tapped in on the gram. Make sure y'all follow the YouTube page at Retired Rec. We dropping exclusive content over there, and behind the scenes on the interviews and things like that. It's gonna be super cool, man. So I'm excited about it. But yeah, man, thank y'all for tapping in. I'm out of here, man. Peace.